Asking all the big questions. Series of theories, series of theories. Asking all the big questions.
Hey up lads, I've had an idea about the podcast.
Series of theories. Asking all the big questions. Series of theories, series of theories. Asking all the big questions. Series of theories, series of theories.
Hello and welcome to Series of Theories, the podcast where we take on the big questions. Today we're discussing South Park and a question Sam came up with. So what is the question, Sam?
Are all of the South Park characters now a figment of Butter's imagination since Imaginationland?
So we've all watched Imaginationland. I hope you've seen it at home, fingers crossed. But where did this question stem from, brother? What happened to you?
Right at the end, really. So yeah, I was watching it. I was high.
Hi. Hi.
Yeah, hi. Watching the last part of it. To be fair, I just got very into it, and then thought, because what happens is obviously Butter's everyone gets nuked. Everyone gets nuked by this nuke that they're chucking through, and essentially everyone dies.
Is this at the point, just to reflect, is that when Man Bear Pig comes out after everybody and then starts killing, but then does he bring them into the portal?
Yeah, everyone
gets sucked through the portal.
Everyone gets sucked back through the portal, and then including the nuke that they were going to put through.
Yes, so that's it.
They were going to fire the nuke
because
through.
they'd solved everything in Imaginationland. It had all got solved, and everyone was good again. Yeah. But then humanity ruins it all. Got this nuke ready to go.
Yeah, and they get pulled through.
They're all dropping down, and then the nuke follows and it obliterates everything.
Yeah, everyone blows up, everyone dies, and then there's just a white screen.
Yes.
So the white screen's there, and you're obviously looking at what's happened, they're all dead, aren't they? They're all gone. Butters then reappears. Now, he then reappears on his own, no one there, but then imagines back all of the rest of the characters that have gone in with him. So obviously it's not everyone who's been pulled through from the other side as such, but it's just the characters that went through with him.
Yeah.
He's then reimagined them back to the point where they are, back to normal. But does that mean that they are now a figment of his imagination, seeing as he imagined them back? That's the question.
It's a big question.
Because how do they then get back into... I can't remember how they actually get back into normality.
They don't show how he wakes up. Like Butters wakes up, like, it was all a dream. Was it all a dream?
Oh.
There's another level to it as well.
Because, it goes on to then Cartman imagining Kyle. So if it is in Butter's imagination, then you've got Cartman having a thought in Butter's imagination.
Yeah.
So that's a bit Inception-y.
Wow. Yeah. The other level of it, they said earlier in the thing as well, didn't they, that you can't, if you are an imaginary character in Imaginationland, you can't then imagine something into production. That's why Butters was so useful there, because he was real. He was real. He could imagine. He was a creator. So that's the thing. So Cartman can't have done that. If he's an imaginary character, in terms of the plot, he wouldn't be able to reimagine that thing of Kyle sucking his balls. But then Butters could imagine him imagining that. So maybe Butters wanted to see that.
Yeah. I mean, that transpires into Butters as a character anyway. Yeah. A little bi-curious.
Yeah.
But, and then, so that happens, and he makes him suck him off, let's say. We'll have to swear on here, aren't we?
Yeah. There's no swear words there,
Oh, yeah, I've done well. And then it goes into Butters waking up, apparently. And is that where it turns off?
He gets grounded, doesn't he?
Yeah. Because would he imagine that, though, being grounded? Why would he imagine...
So this is the thing, like, that's where it gets so confusing. Because if he wakes up and he's back in the real world... And
then he goes, oh, no, I'm not. Yeah. Tries to imagine not being...
But you've got to remember in the first one, where the same thing happens, don't they? They all go to Imaginationland and they don't remember they've been there. They wake up and they think they've had a dream. So it's the same thing. But then he comes out and then his parents go, no, you were in Imaginationland. You're grounded.
You're still there, Butters.
Yeah, so... But that was the first bit, wasn't it? Yeah, he comes back, doesn't he, at the end. And then they're saying, yeah, you were in Imaginationland, now you're grounded because you were supposed to be here, essentially.
God, this is very meta, isn't it?
It is.
What's your take on listening to this, Josh? Do you think Imaginationland's real? And are they all living in it still or not?
That is the $1 million question. But I don't know, because surely as well, if the one thing to consider, if the nuke gets brought through, then surely Butters dies along with it, and surely then it's only imaginary Butters left.
That's
and
my
then
biggest question.
Imaginary Butters can't then imagine more things.
Where did Butters crawl back out from? Because he was the chosen one, and why was he the chosen one?
This is the question. So he was the chosen one. He was the only one that was in there, wasn't he?
Left.
And then he managed to get really good at imagining.
Did that happen for a purpose?
Well, that happened so they could win the war against the evil imagination.
But meaning, because all the others got away, but he got left behind. I know that was accidental, but
they
was
a dragon, didn't they?
Yeah. But the reason behind
why
that.
did he stay behind? Well, they left him, didn't they? They ran off without him, which isn't out of the question in South Park, is it really, that they'd leave Butters behind?
Yeah, true.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, they get separated with him, don't they?
Yeah, they get separated.
Because they all ride away on the dragon, except for Butters, don't they?
Yeah, they didn't
Fellas,
make any effort to go back and get him.
I always remember that bit.
They didn't turn around, they didn't go, oi, dragon, turn around and go and pick him up.
For our first episode, we picked a good one. Imagination, and the fact that it's split up into 3 gives us a bit of scope. Because the starting episode of everything is the leprechaun coming through, but the imaginary character leprechaun is in the real world. So I don't understand why has he got there?
Because imaginary things can still be real.
Ooh.
That's the level.
And then because they've made Operation Imagination and Portal.
Operation Imagination.
But they didn't have that before, so the character didn't come through that portal, did he?
No, he probably sung the Imagination.
Oh, the Imagination song.
That's still Soul Gateway.
Imagination.
No, it goes up there.
There's an inflection there. And then keep singing, boys. The portal's listening. Imagination. Do you, because you've been on Reddit for this.
Yeah, I did a bit of research.
You've done some research. Have you looked at any compelling arguments that have give you a bit of a philosophy or direction in one way?
Not really. No, I mean, this is what I think. Like, it's so deep you can get into it. It's either a plot hole or it's done on purpose.
So we're gonna have Trey Parker and Matt Stone getting in touch. Like, lads, stop poking
We're doing
apart.
an episode about us. We'll be getting ruined.
I don't want to see my caricature of South Park.
No.
I'm going to be one ugly motherfucker. But I mean, I personally think from listening, just my initial take on it is a plot hole, because I don't understand how a nuke can come down, kill real and imaginary all together, but the chosen one comes back. I mean, unless it is just that was imagined of everything happening, but no, they get obliterated. You put me on a spin here. I'm just trying to take it in.
Trying to wrap my head around it.
You sound like, right, this is important now. I mean, with these, we're going to go into football, all elements of these podcasts. You started us out on a bit of a twister here, brother.
Yeah, this is a good fun one, isn't it? Yeah, we've gone quite into this, to be fair. Cause
what did you take on the episode? Did you enjoy it as an escapism? You like the episode?
Yeah, it's one of your favourite. One of the very best
South Park episodes.
Yeah, 100%.
3 of the very best. Yeah.
I mean, it's perfect when there's so many plots going off, and Cartman's main idea is just to get Kyle to suck him off.
That's it.
It's the most important thing for him when there's real world issues going on and the possible obliteration of everything. But he's just like, no, I want Kyle
we had
to
a deal, Kyle.
And then when he gets the camera all set up, that's a nice 4.2 aperture.
It's Cartman all over.
Do you want nuts with that Sunday, Kyle?
You'll be full, whatever he says, you'll be full of nuts.
Oh, dude.
At the end when he's dressed as the Pope.
Because Butters has imagined it, essentially.
Yeah, in terms of an episode, it's a great episode 3-parter. Apparently they only did it so they didn't have to do another film. Because they'd done the film and they'd done Team America and they were going to do another film, but because of how I think it was really difficult for them to be making the film and the series at the same time.
And games and
all that. So they went, well, we'll just do a 3-parter and put it in a series instead so we can just have it carrying on. So, yeah, that's why we did it, essentially, rather than the film. Because
it's, at the end as well, Stan gives his emotional speech, doesn't he?
Yes.
No, it's Kyle. because Kyle has to teeter on. Do I want to suck Cartman off? Let Cartman...
Oh, yeah.
And he sort of has to say what's imaginary and what's not.
Yeah.
Can you remember how he concludes it, in essence?
Not exactly. It's essentially, can things that are imaginary also be real? So things that you've imagined up, can they be also real? Because it got ruled that they couldn't originally, didn't it? And then they changed it round and then ruled it so that, imaginary things can be real as well, which meant that, that whole contract was
because
real.
they're good at doing that. The South Park creators putting the spin at the end. They do it on when Kenny dies, and then he's in a vegetated state, and then he gives out his last statement, and he wouldn't want it televised. Then I think it's Kyle again that says Cartman's argument is right for the wrong reasons, but our argument is wrong for the right reasons. And they put that balanced and nuanced perspective in.
Oh, of course, because Cartman wants him to die so he can inherit the PS.
But
in fact, if he does die, then he goes to heaven and saves heaven, doesn't he? So
But the creators are sort of saying it's probably right to let them die at that point, but for the wrong reason of wanting that. But then everyone that wants him to live just loves him and wants him to still be around. But it's for probably the wrong reason of why it's for you, not for him. I mean,
that's a serious ethical issue. That's very for South Park.
What would they want? It's like before this ever happens, you've got to go through it in your own head to put it out there.
Fully.
South Park put us in the best places, don't they?
Yeah.
Asking the right questions.
I'm going to go home and cry, I think, after this.
I watch Imaginationland, I'd say religiously, at least once a month. Maybe once every other month. I just, it's the most easy to escape episode because it's a 3-parter and it's going to be quite long. So when I've got edits on or I'm on the treadmill now, I just know I can get lost in it. But it never fails to make me laugh because when he goes into Imaginationland and all the crazy characters, and then they do the Saving Private Ryan shot when the terrorists come, and I can't remember who it is, but one of them's carrying his arm around.
Oh, it's Ronald McDonald.
Pick his arm up,
That's such a powerful scene. Oh, lads, we've not even brought up though when Cartman's imaginary characters, so the
woodland critters,
Christmas critters.
They're in the forest, and all the scary imaginary characters are coming up with ways of how to torture. Who is it the torturing?
Strawberry Shortcake.
And then they're all coming up with ways of doing it. And I think Jason with a mask comes and pokes her in the eye, takes that out.
Now come on,
you do a good squirrel impression. You've got that. And he's like, come on, y'all, we've not been evil enough yet. And they're going, we can pee in her eye socket.
Make her eat it first.
Maybe we can get the AIDS and then pee in her eye socket.
We can't pee in the eye socket if we ain't got AIDS.
And all the other characters, like Jason looks around at the other ones like, God.
I wouldn't want to know the kid who created these characters.
Because that's in itself, I know we keep jumping into episodes, but that episode's another one that always gets played. What the Cartman Critter episode, because they based it from sort of the Grinch, sort of like that rhyming way in the forest
like
with
Dr.
the great
Zeus,
Dr. Zeus, that's it. And I love all the way through it, and even when he goes to the abortion clinic and then they see Christmas time can once a year, and it's just so lovely, but then they're giving abortions.
It's amazing. Like I say, I don't watch Christmas specials very often. I only watch them at Christmas because I feel like it's, I don't know.
It's kind of weird.
It's just a weird habit I've got where I won't watch them in the year. I don't
really?
watch them at Christmas.
My one every year is Bo Selector Christmas special.
Oh, that's great.
Ho, 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 Selector. Come
Alan
down your
Partridge is
Christmas
mine.
tree. Proper crimbo.
Knowing
Proper
me, knowing
crimbo.
you. That's what we do.
I mean, I like we've started with this question, but it really has put me into a spin on what is imaginary. How can it have lived out? I suppose looking at the episodes after, we've got PC Principal now.
Yeah.
We've got so many new characters. Maybe they are, Butters gets bored and he just imagines them up. And that's a factor. But what I'll do is go back into the Imaginationland episode,
Yeah.
and when they all die and they'll get obliterated, when Butters imagines it all back up, I'm going to look at every character and see if there's ones that weren't actually in Imaginationland.
Or see differences.
Because he might have brought his mum and dad into there, or he might have put his Stan's dad in there as a random thought.
Yeah.
Because if they're not in there, and it is all the characters that were already there, it just suggests that that's all that's going on in Imaginationland, and they do get brought back for me. Because does that make sense?
Yeah, well, can you die in Imaginationland officially as well if you're not imaginary? I can't remember what that was.
I mean, the
None
closest...
of them do they? Oh, no, because Kenny dies in the real world in that one, doesn't he? So, yeah.
The closest suggestion to me is that end last clip, if they've done that purposefully, where he does wake back up, and then he goes, "Oh no, I'm not," and then tries to imagine something.
Doesn't work in a
but
real
nothing happens, because you think if he can imagine everybody back now, and he's built this superpower up, when he gets woken up and he goes to be grounded and he can't even imagine not being grounded, that makes no sense. Because he should be able to imagination him in a castle.
Well, because he does earlier on in Imaginationland as well. He imagines his parents and they're like really being nice to him, aren't they? And
Yeah.
This is the dream.
Yeah.
You're in Imagination, he's passed
and
out.
they're being nice. Yeah, that's true.
So he can imagine them nice, but in the last one, he obviously isn't imagining
He
them.
goes, "No, you're not, Butters. This is an Imaginationland." So maybe, I bet Trey Parker and Matt Stone had this sort of discussion and conversation, and they thought, you know what, lads, we've gone too far. Let's put the last clippers. No, this isn't Butters. This is an imagination. Because they're my two plot holes or thoughts: is where Butter come back from, and the end bit is pretty conclusive to me in general.
Yeah. And you were saying earlier, like, they're not canonised at that point.
It wasn't until like season 18 where the episodes actually followed on from one another.
That's true.
So that could be part of it, in the fact that one's just, and the fact that it's a kind of a special. Could that be separate from the rest of the series?
Because you were saying they wanted to make a film out of it originally.
Yeah, so it was originally going to be the second film.
Right,
film.
So maybe they just had this beautiful idea. Because, hang on a minute, what happens in the film when they all die? How do they get... It's the devil that brings them all back to life.
Yeah.
Satan, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Does everyone die in the film?
I can't remember the film very well.
I thought it was only
I can't remember how it finishes.
Well, Terence and Philip get killed, and then there's deaths, there's bodies all over the place of Canadians and Americans.
Yeah.
I think Chef's dead.
Yeah.
And so on.
No, I know what happens with that one, because he tries to do the Operation Human Shield and get all the black soldiers at the front, so then send them all to their death.
Yeah.
Chef just goes, "Fuck this," and
runs out,
tells them all to run away, and then the actual army get obliterated.
Everyone. Okay, and then because then the blood of Terence and Philip spills onto the soil, and then hell opens up.
Yes, that's it.
That's it. So, because which is first? Is it the film and then Imaginationland comes out?
I think so. Yes, Imaginationland was like series 11, I think. So the film was quite a lot.
The film was ages ago.
Yeah,
I was
quite
only
a long time before that.
I've watched that one recently as well. Just all the nuanced perspectives that brings up on censorship and then racism or everything. It just keeps adding into the bunch. You think, I'm not ready for this.
I've watched Team America again recently as well.
That's class.
Did you ever hear where they filmed that sex scene for hours? They just made the
Team America.
Yeah, the Team America one. They made them do all the worst things. I think they did one where they shat on her. And they just did as bad as it could go, because they knew it was going to get most of it taken out. So they thought, if we put as much in as we can possibly put in, at least we're going to get our favourite bits that we want.
Get some of it.
It's so clever. Such a good idea of doing. The sex scene originally was like 20 minutes long.
That's brilliant.
Like, right, you've got to cut that out. Okay, we'll keep the crazy bits there.
It is one of the funniest bits, though. Like, it is hilarious.
From what I've said, though, on Imaginationland, just jump into that, have I won you round, or do you just think, I don't know where I'm at?
I still don't know.
You have no idea?
No, because...
I need conclusive evidence.
Yeah,
I need conclusion.
I'm quite happy not knowing.
Are you? Are you happy with the unknown?
I'm happy with the unknown until the day that I meet
There's
Matt
one.
and Trey.
Yeah.
And
Let me
they'll,
know.
Did you play?
and they'll probably be like, we don't know either.
I don't know, man. We were on acid.
One thing though we haven't touched on it though. Who is the mayor? Because he's not an imaginary character. And
The
yet,
mayor of Imaginationland.
yeah,
He is, isn't he?
He is, isn't it?
yeah, but what is he? Is he? He's not like an official. He's not like a fictional character like the rest of them are. He's just the mayor of Imaginationland.
So you're saying-
and he can take people from the real world to
Yeah,
Imaginationland.
I get what you're saying,
So does he
because-
have more of a significance than what we actually know?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah,
Because he dies early
The one
on,
who
really.
yeah.
You're thinking episode 2,
Who
or
Butler's
maybe
just
episode
accuses
1.
of being a pedo. Yeah, it's at the end of it's in the Saving Private Ryan scene.
Yeah, he do-
Alien gets him.
Oh, tap your heels 3 times and you'll go home. Does that really work? No, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, because they're really nice, aren't they? And then they just turn it. They are actually. They show their colours, don't they?
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
the nice ones.
It's
are
not all
they come out
nicey, nicey,
pricks,
lovey,
don't
lovey.
they? Yeah.
I do love the metaphor in that there's a war between the nicey and the terrible things that we
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite a lovely way of looking at it, because this is totally off topic, but I went to South Africa and you know all that we had that statue conversation where they're all
Yeah.
getting ripped down and
Oh
whatnot.
yeah.
When I was in South Africa, it was this really strange village, but it had loads of statues up and it had all dictators as well as amazing people, as well as people through history, and they had Nelson Mandela facing Hitler.
Really?
But on every piece of writing, it just said the same thing, and it said the line between good and evil runs through every human heart.
Yeah.
And they were all facing each other, these dictators and good people from history, and they were all sort of staring each other down. And I remember that so vividly, and it reflected
Powerful,
in me.
that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
And that was like in Imaginationland. We've got all this running around in our heads and these feelings that we can go either way of.
Yeah.
We just know how to shut it out. But when you bring it, the terrorists come through and open it all up, does fear and horror and things take over? Which they try to.
It's funny that the worst things in there are thought by Cartman as well.
Oh yeah.
Like the
always.
Christmas critters. Like,
Oh man, I mean, yeah, that's all you're going to get left with in the end, because
Yeah.
they're going to get too evil for the evils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just going to end up killing all
yeah,
those.
They'll all just lose. They'll just be the Christmas critters.
Who's in the council of Imaginationland?
Is it
Because
Aslan? Aslan?
is Jesus in there?
Luke
Jesus.
Skywalker's in
I was
it.
going to say there's a Star Wars character. I can't remember.
But that's quite powerful when they put all the religious characters in there as well.
Oh, of course, because yeah, it's imaginary. Yeah.
Jesus.
Is Muhammad in there?
Yeah. Jesus can't help them with their question. They're like, how am I supposed to do this,
This is Luke
Jesus?
Skywalker.
I've got to take on the whole of it. And then Jesus goes dead quiet and doesn't know what to do. He goes, Kyle, this is Luke Skywalker. He's clearly passed the phone on because he's like, I don't know what to
And
do.
then it says God, doesn't it? No, God will talk to you. Or does it say he's after someone else?
After another joke character. Oh, that's powerful when they have this whole line of characters and you've got Aslan to Jesus to Muhammad. I think that's really genius.
Yeah, it's so clever.
So I hope we do a lot of South Park episodes, because
Oh yeah, there's a lot.
you know,
There's a lot to talk about in South Park. I think.
we're going to try and conclude this episode. Can I get a rating from everybody for this episode and what you thought to it?
For the 3,
Yeah, let's conclude it all
The
together
trilogy.
as one, as the trilogy. What do you think to it, and could it have been improved, I suppose?
well, I think due to that question that we have outstanding, I'd probably give it 4 out of 5
Yes.
because there's still unanswered questions there, which I think makes it good. But I also think if I knew an answer to that, I probably would give it 5 out of 5 because it could still be a plot hole, could still be something they didn't mean to do.
Yeah, I like when you start dissecting and taking away and it goes, it's definitely a plot hole. That definitely loses a star for me.
Yeah.
100%.
But then again, if it didn't have that ending, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it.
No, that's
Yeah,
true.
So
yeah.
they've smashed it with that because
Yeah.
it's
Keeping
a talking point.
elusive,
Creative
unknown.
conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I love the episode. I'm going to give it a 4 as well, I think, because I do like conclusions. My favourite reason for South Park is when I'm confused on something, not that I go and get all my information from South Park to weigh up how I think on life, but it's so lovely when the music comes on, there's gentle stuff there, and I get given this herd of information and thought, and it just goes, bosh, that's what you wanted to say, because it manages to do that with so many issues that I'm a bit confused on. South Park can help me finalise, oh, that was my stance, that was what I wanted to say. I must admit, there's a lot where I've watched them, particularly the one where Stan and Randy gets has addiction, alcoholic. I don't really agree with their view on addiction.
No,
I don't think that's my stance.
It's an old school view as well, though. It's an older episode, isn't it?
Yeah, so maybe they've changed in time. Mine's more probably of a compassionate. It's not just of discipline. There's people that are addicts that can't control themselves. So what I'm saying on Imaginationland front is, I would have loved that little speech where it gives me that. That's what imagination is. That's the power, and it didn't quite do that. It just put me in a spin. What about you, Josh?
I'm probably gonna have to say same 4, just because unanswered questions.
Yeah,
there's quite a few of those.
We all like to know where we stand.
So I'm happy not knowing, but I'd like to know. Like,
the unknown's beautiful. We can dance in it, but when it comes to an episode, it's good to have a punch at the end and go, oh, what a great point. What a great point.
I mean, I had one more question on it, which I reckon I could Google, but I'm just curious to see if any of you two know the answers. What's the film? Because they get Kurt Russell in, don't they, to try and lead people to Imaginationland and win the war. What film is that a copy of?
I'm awful with films, to be fair.
I don't know. I've got no idea. But they said he was in a film.
He was in a film just like this. Mate, that's great that you said that, because I've always thought that. So that is a Google. I'll put it up in this episode and let them know the film where they can go to see that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to Google that.
Mel Gibson.
What are the directors he does bring in?
Mel Gibson. M. Night Shyamalan.
These are plot twists.
Get out of here. What if it's not Imaginationland? What if it's just your mind? No, that's a plot twist. There's Imaginationland. We need to get there and know how to control it.
Mel Gibson, you say what you like about him. He knows story structure.
Yeah.
Oh, do they get Steven Spielberg in as well? And he just keeps like, no, that's not an idea. That's a special effect.
Yeah. And we can go pew pew pew.
Yeah. Is it Michael Bay?
Oh, it could be It's not James Cameron. He's in another one, isn't he? They rip him quite heavily in another episode, but
I don't. Is it no George Lucas?
It could be,
because God, they play with George Lucas and Spielberg a few episodes. Oh, that's a bad episode. Should we ever do that episode?
What, the Indiana Jones one?
Yes, there's a bit much in it.
It is. But it's a good concept.
I legitimately, I'm not just saying this, but I remember watching that. Probably my 14-year-old self, 15, and that was too much for me, and that sent me on a wrong rabbit hole. I wonder if that's from a film, and I watched what is that from?
Which one?
Deliverance.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that scene, and I went and watched that as too young.
The pig thing.
This is for 18 plus, by the way, this podcast, guys.
Disclaimer.
Don't go and watch that.
I've not seen it, actually, Deliverance.
Oh, it's definitely worth a watch.
I've heard the song.
It's one of those things where, like, if you watch that film, you'll see all the references that have so many things that have referenced Deliverance. Dueling banjos, things like.
And that's a real nice way of showing how we'd communicate through tribal instinct and sound. That they had no understanding or correlation between each other, and then suddenly this guy plays a couple of chords, and the guy suddenly his ears pick up and go din 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 din, and they're playing, and it's a beautiful part of the scene, showing tribes coming together. I'm not going back to watch that film though. Too much for me.
I've not seen it. I don't know whether I want to.
So guys, are you happy with we haven't concluded it, but it's because there's no conclusion in the episode, so what a nice way to end on.
If anyone else has any theories, put it in the comments.
Guys, this is our first episode of Series of Theories, so SOT for you out there. If you've got any ideas of what you want us to talk about, episodes, films, football, box, anything you want us to watch, we'll go back and look at it and give our theories on it. You enjoyed being here, lads?
Yeah.
It's been nice, hasn't it?
Awesome.
Maybe we'll come up with new ways of concluding it, whatever we want to do. We'll have a theme tune, outro, intro, everything.
We should just have a blank screen with one of us, and then they just imagine the whole thing all over again. That's how we should end it.
We've got big ideas for this podcast. Yeah. I don't know how feasible or possible it is. We need budgets, guys. Check us on Patreon.
Chuck some money at us. Like strippers.
Peace and love, guys. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye.